currently we're doing a capital campaign to raise funds for hopefully a new building so we can serve more students out of that area. Just a couple more stats. We won't spend a lot of time on this, but I think it kind of paints a picture of why we do what we do. 12.9% of Americans, including 13 million children in the U.S., are food insecure and currently struggling to put reliable, nutritious food on the table. And then this last one always gets me. Food insecure people are 2.9 times more likely to be poor in health, right? Which just makes sense. You don't have good food, you don't have healthy food, you're going to be poor in health. Just a couple of numbers for you to look at. Again, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but the numbers in the areas that we serve when it comes to children living in poverty, that's a huge piece of this, right? Poverty plays a huge role in why we're doing what we're doing. A lot of the children that are qualifying for free reduced cost lunch at their schools. Those food insecure children from ages 0 to 17, some big percentages there, and again, just kind of reinforces the need for kids to have healthy food in our area. I want to quick highlight with the rest of the time I have some of our 5 commitments that we really kind of live by. It's the DNA of our organization. Again, before I came to Kids Food Basket, I always knew them as the sack supper people, right? Where they colored the bags, they put meals in, and they gave them to kids, which is really good. But I've come to realize that it's so much more than that. There's a lot that goes into what we do, and it's made me really, really proud to be a part of an organization that's thought so deeply about this issue, and is trying to figure out ways to ultimately be a part of ending it, which is a really big task, and it takes a lot of people. But just to kind of highlight that. But Kids Food Basket that started 20 years ago in 2002, there was a principal at a school who saw a little girl digging through a trash can. And this principal walks up to this girl and she says, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need food? Do you need a meal? I can give you something. I can buy you something in the cafeteria." And the little girl pulls herself out of the trash can and she looks up at the principal and she says, "Yeah, I need food, but I have 2 or 3 brothers and sisters at home that also need food." And it absolutely wrecked this middle school principal, right? She was kind of stunned by that. And so she connected with her friend and our current founder, Mary Kay, and they kind of dreamed up this whole idea of what would it look like to provide healthy food for kids that don't have it. What would it look like to make sure a kid doesn't go home at night and they don't know where their next meal is coming from? What would it look like for a kid to have food so they can come back the next day and learn and pay attention and focus and ultimately just be a kid, right? Like that's what we want, our kids to be able to be kids. That's so important. And so that's kind of where this all stems from. So 5 commitments. These are all the things that we focus on and that we're passionate about and that we just continue to run through our organization every day. This first commitment, which we've talked about, is our Nourish commitment. We believe in healthy food. We believe in providing dignity for kids, right? So many different places, maybe other food banks, just in general, will maybe give kids old food or expired food. We don't want to do that. We really want to provide them with healthy food. And so we do that by the volunteers that collect food for us, and we ask for specific items. We do that by, we'll talk about our farm in a little bit, by growing fruits and vegetables and providing that in our sack suppers. We also use those fruits and vegetables and we partner with local food pantries that don't have that access because we think it's a way bigger issue than just what we're doing, right? It's a big thing that we all have to work as a community to tackle. Childhood hunger is such a big deal and we need each other to do that. I talked a little bit about Sack Suppers. That's our flagship program, Monday through Friday. Our partners, service schools, kids that have signed up to be a part of our program will receive these meals. Again, these meals have a fruit, a vegetable, a healthy snack, and a protein. And we want to get that to them every day of the week so they can come back to school ready to go, ready to learn. As you can see here, there are Sack Suppers. We try our hardest to, our community does an amazing job of decorating these bags. We've had so many stories of kids who have hung their bags up on their wall because of the encouragement or because the pictures are really, really creative. If it's my picture, it's just a stick figure, so I try to stay away from the art side of things. But there are some incredible pictures and bags that come in, and we hear the stories of these kids being inspired by that, bringing hope into their worlds. This is really hard to see, so I'll just kind of walk through a little bit of it. But these are some of the programs we have offered. We, again, primarily serve students throughout the week with our service schools, but we also are working towards more of like a weekend response where we give more food on the weekends for students, especially during school breaks, to make sure that they get the food that they need. COVID-19 really intensified, like hunger doesn't go away, right? And so we kind of came up with a plan of how do we get some emergency response food with different partners in the area so families can come to those locations and access food because kids aren't in school. And so we're exploring other ways on what it looks like to get healthy food in the hands of kids other than just through the schools that we serve. Just again, a couple things when it comes to how this has made a difference, right? We've heard from principals and teachers, absentees go down, sicknesses go down, LEAP scores go up. We see end of the day suspensions going down, less behavioral issues. And again, that last one that I so often forget, kids can be kids, right? I'm sure all of us have been hangry in here, right? We all know what it's like to not have food. Think about going home and not being able to have that food, coming back and trying to learn it as a third grader. It's really hard to do. And so it's been really good to hear from our community partners in this. Our second commitment is grow. This is the farm aspect. This is brand new. In 2019, we built our new building with aspirations of having more people come in and being able to serve more of the community and having groups like this group or church groups or school groups to debrief and discuss what they've learned. And then COVID happened, right? Like to all of us, it hit us. And so now we're able to have more groups come in. But we got to serve over 150,000 crops last year, which is really cool. 38 different crops have been grown. We have a beehive, 14 different beehives that we give honey out in our sack suppers. I have some back there if you want some. I brought some from the farm, which is just really cool. And those are a couple of the food pantries we partner with as well. But we also use the farm for education. I think this is a part that I did not understand at Kids Food Basket, the importance of education. Educating people about the realities of childhood hunger, but also educating people why healthy food is important, right? Taking a kid who might not have experienced a tomato or know why that's good for him and bringing him on the farm and showing him all the ways that a tomato can be prepared, right? It's not just a raw tomato, but it's marinara sauce, it's salsa, it's all of these things. The possibilities are endless. And so we use the farm to really try to intensify that and to bring that to life, which is really fun. Some of our students on the farm who harvest some of the beans that we grew, we love having school groups out. Our learning commitment goes right into grow, like I kind of talked about. We want to use our facilities as classrooms, and so we have service school groups come in. Yeah, question, sorry. Yeah, it's right on Leonard. It's on our main location. It's right behind the building. It was actually the last farmable land in Grand Rapids. I just found that out. So, yeah, we have there's a sensory farm on there so students can feel and experience. We have some raised beds. We have a greenhouse with hydroponic system so kids can come in and learn about what it looks like to reuse. And that's such a big, everything's GMO free. Like it's really cool. We have a farmer that manages that whole area. So it's right behind our facility. That's a great question. So yeah, we really want to teach, right? Teach our students through the farm as we educate them, and we do that through showing them how to grow. We talk about the realities again of our area. This isn't something that just happens in other countries, right? It happens in our own backyard. We want to be really conscious of that. A little bit more about Learn. We have it's called a Ground Up Learning Lab. We have former teachers on our staff that write curriculum for our teachers in our area when they're not going into service schools to have hands-on education. There are online opportunities that teachers can use. And this has been really, again, this kind of came up with the pandemic because we couldn't be in schools. But they do an incredible job of providing really great educational videos for students to learn more about how to prepare food, how to explore food. It's really incredible to see what they've been able to do. And so that's important to us. A letter from the principal that we got about the impact that some of the Learn education has been having on their classroom, which is encouraging to hear from them. All right, two more. Engage. This is the volunteer-driven part of what we do. These are volunteers that come in every single day, because without our volunteers, we would not exist. It doesn't happen without our community buying into the idea that we want to end childhood hunger. It's not just me, it's not just our CEO, it's not just our founding founder, it's everyone coming together. Volunteers fuel our mission and everything that we do. I love some of these numbers. Again, we view this as a collective responsibility. Our volunteers are 30% of them are under the age of 18, right? We served here at Our Lady of the Lake a couple weeks ago at Adam, and we got to see the students really dig into this work. We serve about over 9,000 kids a day from all 4 of our areas, which is, again, just incredible to think about. We're really active in listening and learning sessions. We understand that there are different parts of our community, different cultures, different ethnicities, different places. Like we want to be intentional about how we listen. The last thing we want to do is just plop in and say we're kids' food basket, move out of the way, right? So right now for Muskegon, we're getting ready to think about where our location can be. We're having active listening sessions with the community. What makes the most sense? How can we best serve you? I was a part of a lot of mission trips when I was a younger kid where we just went there and we did whatever we wanted to do because we wanted to feel good about ourselves. That's not what we want to do here. We want to be intentional with our community because it's so important to us. So that's a big deal. Some quick numbers from volunteers. Over 29,000 volunteer hours last year. Again, that just emphasizes the importance of them. And then over 2,500 volunteers in all. And again, our volunteers range from age 5 to 93. I love that, right? This wide range of volunteers throughout the course of the year. All right, last but not least, this is a brand new commitment. We've been doing this since we started, but we are just now naming it, and that is the commitment of advocates. We believe that it is our responsibility as Kids Food Basket and as volunteers come into Kids Food Basket to advocate on behalf of kids that don't have access to healthy food. Our CEO, Bridget Clark-Whitney, she's actually really involved in Lansing with a lot of policymakers. She's connected in DC. We had the President Biden's, Joe Biden, come through a couple months ago to just tour the campus and learn more about some of these things to try to figure out, like, what is this reality, right? So she's doing a lot of policy work about how can we make food more accessible? What can we do to provide more options for people who live in areas that don't have access currently? And so she's doing that hard work. But then I also love to tell students and other people that come through that we also have a responsibility and an ability to share some of these things too. I love telling people that now that you know about some of these things, who are you going to go home and share with, right? We all have a circle of influence. We all have people we know. I had no idea about more than half of this stuff before I started here. And now what can I do to continue to share that knowledge? And so advocacy work is such a big deal for us, and we continue to really share that message with the people that come in every single day. We'll talk about that a little bit. So ways to volunteer, and we'll end with this. There are so many opportunities. We have farm opportunities in our Kent County location. We have packing and prepping options. Every single day we need people to come in. We just actually got a farm in Holland. At Ridgepoint, we bought farmland. They're letting us use some farmland, and we're getting ready to build a farm. So in Holland, it's about to boom, you guys, in fall, and we're going to need a lot of volunteers. So volunteers is such an important thing. We have a lot of church groups, community groups, help us with community fundraising. And it's having them just think about ways that they can spread the word and help us raise funds. And then again, like I just talked about, helping inform people in your circles about the realities of food insecurity. I think that advocacy part is something that's so easy to miss, but it's one of the most important things we can do by just talking through it and getting people on the same page. You can't miss that. So that's what I have. Thank you so much. Did I miss any questions? How long did I go over, Alyssa?
4 minutes.
25 minutes, Alyssa? Sorry, man. Yeah.
Where's the farm in Holland?
So the farm in Holland's right by Ridgepoint Church. Yes, they have a bunch of land. I don't even know how that partnership, we've been partnering with them for a while, but I think one of our so I work from Grand Rapids. I think one of our Holland team members had a connection, and they're like, yeah, we have this land, and we're trying to replicate this in Muskegon as well, right? Because the farm has changed everything, right? When you can educate people and provide healthy food, that changes everything. And so, really, really grateful for Ridgepoint for letting us be able to use that. Yeah.